Today, we're going to have a pretty serious conversation on what are the struggles that high performing women face, especially high performing entrepreneurs. So, this is a conversation that I feel most women don't talk enough about. Perhaps there's some shame around it or they feel alone and isolated. Today, we're going to have a pretty serious conversation on what are some of the biggest struggles women face, especially high performing women. In my programs, I specifically work with self led leaders, entrepreneurs, women that have very high standards for their lives. And with that type of a woman comes a lot of things that a lot of the times she doesn't want to talk about. Maybe because she doesn't want to face it. She feels like, I got this. I should figure this out. I don't need to burden anybody with the things that I'm struggling with. All these conversations that I see inside of my programs is what I'm going to talk to you about today. And I'm also going to share with you some of the struggles and challenges that I have personally faced as an entrepreneur and now as an entrepreneur mom. So buckle up because it's going to be a ride. I decided to shed some light on this because in my coaching programs, I hear the things I'm going to share with you all the time, but I hear them like this. I hear the women share the struggles that they're facing and immediately rationalize it or sweep it under the rug like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And I started to think about why do we do that? Because I do that too. Why do we do that? And I think the reason is because most high performing women, most self led women, they have the mentality and the mindset that they can do it, that they can achieve, they can drive, they can push through any struggle that faces them. And because they know that as a core belief, which is a beautiful thing, which is why they have had so much success, that many times doesn't allow us to really feel what is happening, to just put it under the rug. I'll deal with that later. It's not that big of a deal. I'm sure it's going to work out. And although those are beautiful things that have helped her have the type of success that she has, if it's not addressed, it will eventually burn her out. And that's why I decided to talk about this. So, one of the biggest things that I hear from a lot of women that are driven, that are achievers, that want more, that they know they're made for more is this guilt. This guilt of feeling like, gosh, I want to have more, but at what expense? Does that mean that I have to compromise my family or that I have to compromise XYZ in order for me to achieve this success? That is one of the biggest struggles and challenges that most of my clients face. And I can tell you that was a huge one for me for many, 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 many years. It wasn't until I got around other successful entrepreneurs that had a lot more experience than I had, that had lived through the trenches of the guilt, that I was able to see how, number one, it was okay and it was normal for me to feel these things, and how to manage that guilt. Because I know some people will say, you shouldn't feel guilty. But the reality is, I did. The reality is, there was a sense of, my gosh, am I being so greedy with my time? And is it okay for me to want more? Should I be more of a stay at home mom? Should I be more involved with my child? Should I be more here? But really, I love to work. I love to create. I love to build. So there was this feeling, although people would say, you shouldn't feel guilty. The reality is, I did. And it wasn't until I got around other entrepreneurs and started to see how they were able to navigate through that guilt. They were able to navigate through the struggles, that it shed some light to how I could put things in place so I wouldn't feel as guilty. Because listen, I am not going to lie, it doesn't own me anymore. But there are times that I still feel guilty. Like, look, I'm going to be real. I will be somewhere with my son, for example, I don't know, an arcade or something. And although he's having a blast and we're there, but if I know that there was like this networking event or something else happening that I wanted to go to, but I'm here at a birthday party, in that moment, I feel guilty because I would rather be over there than being at his little birthday party with his friends. I'm just keeping it real. Now, in that moment, I then have to like talk to myself and say, he's only young for this amount of time. These moments are precious. And I talk myself through it so I don't sit in the guilt, but I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't come up anymore. That's not the truth for me. Maybe one day I'll be able to tell you I don't feel guilty anymore at all. But right now in this stage of my life, my son is 8. So yes, sometimes I do things with him that I really don't like and I'd rather be doing my business. That's just the truth. However, what has helped me not feel the guilt as much is the following. First of all, I no longer have the feeling that I've got to do it all and that I got to do it all alone. Let me explain. I feel that a lot of women, we wear this badge of honor that I could run a business, run the household, clean, cook, do the laundry, take my kid to school, take him to his sports, take him here, take him there. Like I would wear this, I don't anymore, would wear this badge of honor like I could do it all. And it was like almost like I wanted to wear these medals over my neck, medal of being a mom, medal of this, medal of that. And so that I could, like of the Olympics, right? Like what's that guy that swam that won all those Olympic gold medals? Like I wanted to wear all these medals of saying, look, I could do it all. But that had me burned out. I felt resentful that I was cleaning and it was just like, it was too much. So when I was around high performing entrepreneurs and I was able to see that, hey, you know what? It's okay that I have somebody help me come and cook and clean and do my laundry. It has to get done. That doesn't mean it has to get done by me. And when I was able to really reframe myself and say, hey, you know what? That's why I work. I rather spend some extra time working, get an extra client, get an extra deal so that I could pay someone to come and cook and clean and do my laundry. So be it. And so when I started to shift my mindset, now I was wearing the badge of honor that I am helping somebody else's household. That see how I reframed it? Instead of thinking I'm going to do it all, I thought, you know what? I am going to help another family have more financial abundance. I'm going to hire somebody which is going to contribute financially to another household. And that's how I reframed it. That's what worked for me. So, one of the things that helped me was to stop thinking that I had to do it all alone. And some of you might be thinking, Karla, I don't have the financial resource to do that. I'm going to challenge you. Yes, you do. Because one of the things that I'm going to invite you to consider is that you invest, because that to me is an investment. You invest in anything that you see value. You invest in anything that you feel is worth investing in. For example, ladies, our nails, our lashes, our pedicure, our hair, those things are not cheap. And if that means that maybe you go an extra week with your nails so that you can hire somebody to come in and help you clean your house once a week, so be it. So maybe what I'm going to invite you to think about is not that you cannot afford it. It's that you really cannot afford to do everything on your own. So think about what things could you shift? What investments, spending can you shift? Maybe that means don't go out to eat as much. Meal prep, eat at home. Get creative, okay? Listen, you're a self-led woman here, so get creative. But the way you're going to get creative is by first shifting your mindset in knowing that you do have the resources. They're just right now allocated in other things. So that's the first thing. How did I stop dropping that guilt was by starting to get help. So guess what? So what that meant is if I'm home, I'm no longer having to worry about cleaning. I can actually spend some quality time with my son. So the first thing that I know a lot of women feel is this guilt. And a lot of the times that guilt comes from thinking we have to do it all and we have to do it all alone. So consider getting some help. Now, the other thing that oh my gosh, you guys, this happened to me a lot. The other thing that really has a lot of women frustrated, especially high performing women, is they start to lose their identity, especially my entrepreneur moms. Actually, before I got married, I was a certain way because it was just me. I'm going to just keep it 1000% real with you. Let me share with you what happened to me. Before I got married, it was just me. So guess what? All I had to worry about was me, myself, and I. And during those times that I was single, I literally was doing all the things that I love to do. I love to go work. I love to work out. I love to get dressed up. I love to do my makeup, to do my hair, dress nice clothes. I did all of the things, okay? Then I got married and we had our first son. And in that transition of being home and breastfeeding for 7 months. And the first couple of months, I didn't leave my house because, society said I needed to be at home and I needed to be this. And anyway, I fell into that. And I went from being a total businesswoman to being a stay at home mom in pajamas, breastfeeding what felt like 24 hours a day. And in that time span, I was in pajamas, my hair was in a bun, and all of a sudden, it was like 7 months later, and I'm still in pajamas and I'm still in a bun, and breastfeeding and sleepless nights and all the things that come with motherhood. Here's the thing. First of all, nobody told me what I was going to go through. And all of a sudden, I found myself in this way of being that was unrecognizable. I loved being home with my son. And it was a lot. Here's the thing that nobody told me, that now when I see a woman that's like, especially first time moms, I tell them, get some help. Okay? Because if I wanted to go take a shower, if I wanted to go get my nails done, if I wanted to do anything, I felt like I just couldn't. Although I love my kid, okay? Don't misinterpret me. When people say, "Don't you love it?" I'll be like, "I don't know," because I was just trying to figure out how to keep him alive and how to not lose my sanity. I wasn't sleeping. I mean, all the things that happened with being a mother. Here's what happened. During that time, I completely let myself go. I started to identify myself as Sebastian's mom. I was no longer Karla. I was no longer the businesswoman. I went from here to here, okay? Like 180. And what happened was I felt as if that was the role I had to be in, and only that. Now, I don't know where I got that idea, okay? But I felt like I couldn't be the businesswoman and the mom. So now when I see women, and especially their first time moms, I always tell them, listen, if I could give you one piece of advice, hire help. Don't feel shamed, because here's the thing. A lot of people around me would be like, you have a nanny? Because eventually I got one, okay? They're like, you have a nanny? And they made me feel like that was wrong. You have someone come and help you clean and cook? And they wanted to make me feel like that was wrong. So now when I see a woman, I tell them, listen, get help. Don't do your hair, don't do your nails, don't get clothes. Just sacrifice some of the things if you're on a budget and get help. Because there's nothing more important than your mental health. And that comes with having people around you to support you. Now, if you can have your friends and your family and your mother and your aunt or whoever to help you, that's great. I didn't have that luxury. I had to hire help. So whenever I would see somebody that has their mom or their sisters or whoever helping them, be grateful. I cannot tell you how many times I would get so emotional when I would see women with their moms or their sisters and their aunts with their babies helping them, because I wish I had that. But I lived in Los Angeles. We had no family around us. So it was my husband, myself, and my son. And let me just tell you, it was really hard. But here's the thing that happened that was even harder, was that I lost my identity. I stopped dressing up. I stopped taking care of myself. I stopped doing the things that made me feel good. So the other thing that I find that a lot of women have happened to them is they start to lose their identity when they become moms. Now, some of the women that are in my programs are not moms and they still struggle with this because what happens to them is that they go from being a business or career woman to being a businesswoman. And now all they do is eat, breathe, talk, walk, everything their business. I was there too. Because when I first started my business at the age of 23, I went from being a student to working at a company for 3 whole months. And then I launched my business and I went all in. And I went all in and I stopped hanging out with friends, stopped talking to certain people. I stopped working out. I literally X'd everything out because I was so laser focused. And although that was a great thing because that's what had me succeed so fast, it was like I put my head down and I just went. And then all of a sudden, when I looked up, I was alone. I didn't hang out with people. I like X'd my friends out, X'd out my family, and I was just go, 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 go. People stopped inviting me to things. Lucky for me, my friends are so unconditional that when I put my head up and I reached out, they were not like, where have you been? They were like, hey, Karla. Because I only have high quality people around me, friends that are low maintenance. Not one of them was like making me feel guilty. Not one of them tried to make me feel guilty. Maybe also it's because when I called, the first thing I did is I apologized and I owned my behavior. Now, lucky for me, they were like, no, girl, you were building your business. I get it. Why? Because I'm around people that also are up to big things. So they were not like sitting around waiting for Karla to call them. They were doing their own thing. So when I finally reached out and I owned it and I apologized, they didn't make me feel guilty. If anything, they were very understanding. Now, that's my own personal experience. I know some people say, well, when I reached out, they don't want to talk to me anymore. Okay, well, you know what? It's time to find new friends. Okay. But here's the thing. One of the things I'm going to encourage you to do if you're in that place right now, if you're like, go, 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 is to take some time to put in your schedule at least once a month to reach out to some of those friends. Just send a message, send a text, comment on their Facebook post, comment on their Instagram stuff. Just let them know that you're still around, that you're thinking of them. And if you're still in the grind, keep going. But don't make the mistake that I made that completely X'd out everybody because you were so in your business. Which leads me to the next thing, and that is most entrepreneur, high-performing women struggle by not having enough time for themselves. You see, one of the challenges that I see is that women, high-performing women, have a calendar, have a schedule, and it is full. They have a list of all the things that they need to do, but they themselves are not on that list. They themselves are not in that calendar. They schedule the appointments for the meetings, for the this, for the that, but they don't schedule time for themselves. And here's the other thing. One of the biggest things, and I'm guilty of this too, I catch myself though, okay, is this, that because they're on the go all the time, many times they feel tired. But if there's a business meeting, even if they don't feel like it, they'll get dressed up, they'll put on the heels, they'll do the makeup, they'll do the lipstick, and they'll get themselves in the car and they'll go to that meeting. But if their friends call and say, hey, let's go out dancing, let's go have some coffee, let's go have a drink, they'll be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. And they won't make the effort like they will for that business meeting. Some of you listening to this are saying, yeah, that's me. I know. Me too. I'll give you a really quick example. It was a Sunday. I love salsa dancing, and I haven't danced salsa in a long time. And I called a friend and I said, hey, where do you go? She told me where it was and everything. I got home and I looked for my salsa shoes, and I was like, my mind was like, oh, it's Sunday, you should rest. And all these thoughts went through my mind. And then I remembered this, because we talked about this situation in one of my masterminds. And I remembered telling that particular person, if that was a meeting, would you have gotten the energy? Would you have gotten yourself ready? Would you have talked to yourself like, come on, and you would have gotten out the door and would have gone anyway? And she said, yes. And I said, but yet we don't do that for ourselves. Going to the gym, going to meet a friend, things that enrich our lives. So I was telling my client that. So guess what? I put on my own hat of coaching myself. And I thought, Karla, by the way, I do talk to myself like that sometimes. And I'm like, Karla, if this was a meeting, would you get ready? Would you put on your shoes? Would you go out the door? And would you head out to that meeting? I said, yes. And I said, okay, then put on your salsa shoes and go. And I was like, fighting it. I'm not going to lie. I was fighting it. So what did I do? I tapped into my winning formula that has me feeling good. I put on some salsa music. I got ready. I got into the vibe. I made my special drink. In case you don't know, I love this drink. I call it my mom juice. It's the Herbalife Liftoff with the Herbalife CR7. If you've never tried it, send me a message. I'll send you a sample. It puts you in the best mood ever. So I made myself my little drink and I was putting on some salsa music and I got myself in state. I changed my state. I started singing, I started dancing, I got ready, I grabbed my salsa shoes and out the door I went. And I went salsa dancing for only an hour and a half. But guess what? That enriches my life because some of the things that I love is adventure. I love to have fun. By me being home alone, watching Netflix, and I probably wouldn't have even watched Netflix. I probably would have done some work, okay? To be honest with you, I probably would have gotten some work done, and that can wait. What cannot wait is my happiness, my state of mind. What cannot wait is me feeling good, right? So I'm going to encourage you as you're planning out your week, as you're planning out your month, don't forget to put yourself in your plan. Don't forget to put yourself in your planner. Don't forget to put yourself on your list. I have all these to-dos. Are you on that list? I got this busy week. Are you on that list? Now, I know you're probably thinking, Karla, I'm already busy. Here's what I'm going to say. Figure it out. Okay? Figure it out. Maybe that means you need to wake up a little earlier to do some things for yourself. Maybe you love to do yoga and you can't go to a yoga studio. But guess what? Now there's no excuse. You can yoga from home. Wake up a little early and do it. Maybe in the middle of the day, instead of scrolling on your stuff on your phone, go out for a walk. Do something that has you as a priority for yourself. Now, this has taken me a long time to master. So if you're here and you're like, oh my gosh, be patient. Just do a few things every single day, maybe once a week. Maybe start with maybe start there. And then next week, do it twice a week, etc. For me, one of the things that has me feel good is that I do a morning and night ritual every morning and every night. There's a ritual. Maybe for you, it's like, I hope you don't do this, but like some women don't wash their face before going to sleep. Okay, so start there and put on your lotions at night and just be present to your face. Look at your eyes. Do little things that have you focus on you. So one of the things that I challenge the women in my program all the time is this, and that is start to adapt the idea that you are the most important person in your life. Now, some people will say, well, that's kind of selfish. What about your kid? Listen, I love my son. And if I had one bottle of water and we're in the desert, of course, I'm going to give it to him because I love him that much. But those are extreme situations. I'm talking about every day, every moment, you being able to say, I am important too. I am valuable also, not just everybody else, and forget about you. I'm going to just close with this. Last year, depending on when you're listening to this, okay, I'm recording this in 2025. Last year, 2024, was a big year for me, was a big year of awakening, was a big year of aha, like, oh my gosh, who is this woman? What happened to me? It was that kind of year. I looked at some pictures and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I let myself go. I gained a lot of weight. The clothes I was wearing, I mean, just everything was so not who I know myself to be. It wasn't until I started to like look at myself in the mirror that I was able to wake up and be like, what happened? And start to realize that although I love people around me, I needed to prioritize myself again. Now, what that looked like at the time was waking up at 4:30 in the morning, making myself a special tea that I call I Love Myself tea in beautiful mugs, reading the Bible, connecting with God, going to a workout, all before my son woke up. That's what it took for me to start to tap into myself again. Now, maybe that's not what it is for you, but think about what are the things that you love. Maybe you love to read and you stopped reading. Maybe you love to go hiking and you stopped hiking. What are the things that you have stopped doing that fuel you? Because it's like a vehicle. If you don't put gas in a car, it's not going to go far. So, what is that gas for you? What are the things that have you feel good? And what are the things that you should start to delegate? Have somebody else help you. Make the investment. Look, I'm just going to keep it real, okay? So many times women will tell me, I don't have money. But I then see them going to a concert that's the ticket was like $700. Number one, that's why you don't have money, because that's an expense. That's luxury. But for you, for that person, that was not luxury. That was a must. And that's why they invested. Actually, hold on. Let me rephrase that. That's why they spent the money on the $700 concert ticket, because they find that valuable. So if that, I'm sure that's not you or you wouldn't be here. But if it is you, I am going to challenge you to shift your mindset and start to think about you being your biggest asset. That means investing in your mindset, investing in coaching, investing in programs, investing in a personal trainer, investing in your in your hygiene, investing in you. Because listen, you're born with you and you're going to die with you. I got not tell you, one of my core fundamental beliefs is that I am my biggest asset. And I'm not going to say this to impress you, but I want to demonstrate to you. There was in 2024, there was a program that I really wanted to be part of. And it was $34,000, if I'm not mistaken. It was over $30,000 for the year. Now, did I have that money like in the bank account? Well, I'm going to be real. I did. Okay. But I didn't want to deplete my cash. So what did I do? I figured it out. I applied for a credit card. Lucky for me, I have great credit. And I remember praying, saying, God, I really want to do this. And please let because you apply and then they'll tell you what the limit is. And guess what the limit was? The limit was for $35,000. I was like, okay, this is a sign from God. And I put it on the credit card with 0% interest for the year. So I paid it off so that come the next year, I didn't have to pay all the interest. But that gave me time to make some moves so that I could be part of that group and not deplete all my funds. So I'm demonstrating that to you to say, when you want something and you really desire it, I promise you, the first thing you got to do is make that commitment. Commit to whatever, and the resources will come if you follow through, if you're committed, if you really desire it. But you can't be like, and don't come to me and message me and be like, well, I really want a house. And so, no, come on, be responsible. Okay. But the reality is there's a lot of things that are really a necessity for your life, for your quality of life, your mental health, for you to grow your business. But you haven't taken that leap because you haven't committed to it yet. So as we're completing this, I wanted to shed some light on this because I feel that so many women, especially, don't talk about these things. Don't talk about how, hey, it's okay for you to hire help. Hey, it's okay for you to put yourself on your list. Hey, it's okay for you to put yourself on the calendar. Hey, it's okay for you to still make yourself a priority and not completely let yourself go. Actually, it's not that it's okay. It's actually a must. if you really want to grow your business, if you really want to grow in your career, you cannot do it alone. You're going to need support. And what that looks like is different for everybody. I had to hire support. Maybe for you, it's having conversations with the people around you. It is a must that you don't put yourself last, or you're going to become resentful. You're going to be upset. You're going to not be your happiest self. You have no idea how happy I am when my housekeeper comes and I come home and the house is so clean and my laundry is done and it's all folded. I'm like the happiest I can be. I'd rather not go shopping for clothes, but have that. That's me, right? So I'm going to invite you as you're listening to this. What are the struggles that you're facing? What are the challenges that you have around you that really, they're not fixed problems? They're situations waiting for a solution. So I invite you to think about, what are those things? What are those challenges? What are those situations that are just waiting for a solution? And start to think about, what can I do? Who can I talk to? Who can support me? Don't think like just that you have to do it all by yourself. It's not what, it's who. Who can help me? Who can support me? And when you start to shift that mindset, I promise you that muscle is going to serve you in your business and in your life. If you find this helpful, I'm going to encourage you to consider subscribing to this channel if you're here on YouTube. And if you're listening to one of the platforms, or if you're here on YouTube, share this with somebody. I am certain that there is a woman in your life, or two, or three, or five, that need and should and could benefit from this podcast. I'm going to encourage you, send it to them and say, hey, listen to this. And if there's anything that I can do to help you and support you, join us in one of our programs. Click on the link here below in the description. There's some links, or you can go to my website, Karla with the K, karlaesandoval.com, or wakeupandunleash.com. Go to one of our websites and look at the programs. There's so much that you can be part of that can support you, because at the end of the day, as you know, I say this every week, it matters who you are around. It matters who is in your corner. It matters who's in your ear. So make sure you're very mindful on who is around you. Proximity is power. And you being around like-minded women, women that understand you, that encourage you, that see you and uplift you, is such, in my opinion, is such a valuable thing for your quality of life. So with that said, remember to wake up and unleash that person that you know you have inside. Have a blessed day.